Hello, and welcome to the Blessings in the Streets podcast pre-launch special. I'm your host, Joseph B. Roberts, and you have been granted exclusive access to the listening party of my book, Blessings in the Streets, When God Leverages Our Valley Experiences. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you have enjoyed the content that has been presented to you today. In this episode, we are going to jump into chapter 5 of my book, and I'm going to share with you a story that is entitled Elliot. Throughout our time spent in Riverdale, there was always another teenager other than me living in the house. It began with landlord's son Gerald, who stayed with us until his graduation from high school. My friend Eric, he stayed with us for a short time as well, before once again returning home to live with his mother. Then there was my godbrother Sasso, who had a brief stint with us in the house. I must admit that being an only child was great for many reasons, but it was also cool to have someone else around my age to connect with. The most memorable of extended stays by someone in our home was that of my childhood friend Elliot. We had known each other since our days in Cub Scouts and had always been close friends. Our mothers had also shared a great friendship for many years, but for the first time, their bond was tested like it had never been before. Elliot, he was an only child like me and was also raised by a single mother. He had a similarly close relationship with his mom as I did with mine, and he was very protective of her as well. She did her best to keep a roof over their head, food on the table, clothes on his back, but sometimes there would not be enough money to go around. That led to Elliot and his mom having to stay with different people during times when she could not manage things on her own. One evening, his mom was partying with some friends at the apartment of the person whom they were staying with. There later arose a confrontation between his mom and a gentleman who was also at the party. He had accused her of stealing money from him while he was asleep, but she denied having done so. Not convinced that she was telling the truth, the gentleman stormed out of the room, only to quickly return with a meat cleaver with which he attacked her. She suffered multiple wounds from that vicious onslaught, and she lost a great deal of blood in the process. With her life in danger, she was immediately rushed to the hospital. I'm not certain what ultimately happened to the man who attacked her, but she survived it all following a lengthy stay in the hospital. Elliot, who was about 13 years old when this incident took place. You can only imagine what horror he must have felt inside, about his mom being attacked that way. To add insult to injury, he was thrown out of the apartment that they were staying in that same night, while his mother fought for her life at the hospital. With nowhere to go and no idea of the condition his mom was in, the only person he could think of to call was my mom. So he did just that. The phone rang sometime around 1 a.m., and my mom could clearly hear the panic in his voice on the other end. She then confirmed his whereabouts and assured him that she was on the way. I rode along with Mom to get Elliot, and he was most definitely relieved when we got there. After confirming that Elliot's mom would make it through the injuries, we all went home to try and get some rest. Elliot's mom stayed in the hospital for nearly 2 weeks. On the day she was released, my mom prepared a big meal for everyone as we celebrated her return home. She stayed with us for a couple of days thereafter before finally leaving. When she did leave, however, Elliot did not accompany her. Mom knew she needed a little more time to find a new place to live, so there was no problem with him staying with us a while longer. In the weeks to come, Elliot's mom would visit on the weekend and communicate by phone through the week. Eventually, these weeks turned into months, and the frequency in phone calls or visits began to lessen. Before we knew it, communications had nearly ceased altogether, and Mom found herself facing the possibility that Elliot may have been abandoned by his mother. At that point, 8th grade graduation was approaching for Elliot, and there had been no word from his mom for quite some time. He needed a graduation suit, but my mom did not have the money to buy him one. She then took the chance to reach out to a mutual friend to borrow her credit card. The friend agreed to help, and off we were to the mall just a couple of days before his graduation, looking for a suit. Mom made sure Elliot was sharp from head to toe, And of course, landlord took care of his haircut. Thankfully, after reaching out to any and everybody she could think of, Mom was finally able to speak with Elliot's mom so that she would not miss out on his special day. Once the festivities were over, his mom vanished once again without letting anyone know what was going on with her. Later that summer, Mom enrolled Elliot into the same high school attended by Gerald and me. While Gerald assumed the role of brother, Elliot was sort of known as my cousin. Of course, we were in no way blood related, but to just refer to him as my friend felt a bit inadequate. What began as weeks and months of him staying with us turned into years. Mom always loved and cared for him as one of her own, but over time, her frustration grew due to the inconsistency in contact as well as financial support from his mom. Elliot's mom had previously made it known to my mom that she had begun receiving a monthly Social Security check on the behalf of her son following the death of the man that was identified as his biological father. I'm not certain what the amount of the check was, but it was sufficient to offer my mom some financial relief as it pertained to the care and upkeep of Elliot. Once Mom had reached her wits' end about the situation, she decided to take matters into her own hands. One day, she pulled Elliot out of school, and together they went to the Social Security office. Mom explained to the person she spoke with that for the past couple of years, she has been functioning as his guardian, and contact from his mother was seemingly non-existent. As a result, Mom was now requesting that the Social Security check his mother received each month be sent to her instead, since she was the one taking care of him. Social Security agreed with my mom that this request was appropriate per the circumstances and, in turn, proceeded to have the monies redirected to her the next following month. Once the next month arrived, Mom was in receipt of the check, just like Social Security said she would be. It was exactly the financial relief she needed at that time, but the good news was short-lived. When Elliot's mom did not get the Social Security check she looked forward to each month, she immediately contacted Social Security to find out exactly what happened to the money. When told that the funds had now been redirected to my mom as Elliot's legal guardian, she became livid and made plans to regain control of that money. The day after Elliot's mom found out about it, she took him out of school early, and the two of them headed back down to the Social Security office. She then convinced the person assisting them that she was still his primary caregiver and that my mom was not his legal guardian. Although he was in no way confused about who had been caring for him the past couple of years, loyalty to his mother would prevail, which led to her again being granted access to the Social Security check, effective the next following month. His mom also decided, after several months of no contact, to reach out and confront my mom about her efforts to begin receiving the Social Security check. This did not only lead to the worst argument the two of them ever had, but it also signaled an end to their friendship. Mom, in that moment, felt a certain level of betrayal from Elliot as well, but she understood that he was just a teenager doing what he was told to do by his mother. In the end, Elliot was picked up by his mom, and our parents never spoke to each other again.